Welcome back everyone. Today we have a different kind of video. We are trying to do how to play the mirror. Since as of today I looked at the German Treasure Cup and there were 150 something players playing Kid. So there was bound to be a lot of mirrors, and we had our own Treasure Cup. We had a lot of mirrors. I expect Vegas, which is playing today or this weekend, to have a lot of mirrors, and I expect the next Treasure Cup to have a lot of them too. So I wanted to give a guide on how to play the mirror and how to play some of the other matches, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it, and it's just easier to make a video about it and just have everyone on the same page with the deck. The first thing that we wanted to talk about is that there are two ways to play the mirror. The first one, it's attacking the opponent, and the second one is not attacking the opponent. Now, when would you use one or the other? It's always to not. It's better to always not attack the opponent, because it just gives them more resources. But so when you decide to attack the opponent, you're putting them, or better not have the A drop, because if you do have the A drop, then at some point during the game, he's gonna be able to go to 0 life. And then when he rests the A drop, now you have to contest against the Captain Kid being an A drop, and then a Searcher or something else. And then you're not going to be able to kill the leader when he's AK, basically. And if you don't have yourself your own A drop, because they didn't attack you or you didn't see enough cards, it's going to be really hard to defend your board at that point. So that's something that happened a lot when I was playing in the Treasure Cup. Like, a lot of people were just attacking me a lot. And Andrew and myself never attack the opponent, because that's not how you should play the mirror. The best way to play the mirror is on the first few turns of the game, you're fighting for board. And the best way to fight for board is playing cards like Okiku, your blockers at the beginning. Use your Nekomamushis early on if they play something like an Okiku. Try to fight for those cards. But never swing. Like, if you play your Okiku yourself, don't attack with it. It's just not worth it, because you're gonna have to defend it if you attack with it. And if you don't attack, like if they force like interaction to remove it, that's fine. If they play a Nekomamushi to kill her and then go super over the like if they go like 7k at your Okiku and you don't have a blocker to defend it, just let her die. It's not worth dropping 2 cards to save an Okiku, which is not gonna win you the game. She's not important to the grand scheme of things. The cards that are important when you're playing the mirror are Basil Hawkins and the A drop. Everything else is just complementing these 2 cards. So how do you play the mirror? You played your Basil Hawkins. This one you do defend. If they rested with a draw swords or with something else, if you are able to defend this card and not lose like your whole hand trying to defend it, then do defend this card, because this card wins the mirror as well as the A drop. So on the early portions of the game, just try to remove their Okiku if they have one. Try to just drop your Basil Hawkins and then drop your A drop. If you're going first, you can do it like 5, 7 if you have the Kid, and then your A drop. Don't attack with anything. Nothing at all. Not the leader, not the A drop, not the 7 drop, nothing. Not until you're in a comfortable enough space where you have enough cards or you have a draw engine that can complement you tapping the A drop. So what if they're attacking you, then you already have all the cards in your hand, and if you already have a Hawkins, an A drop, and anything else, everything else is just doesn't matter really. It's just these 2 cards. Then you can start attacking with this guy. And once you start attacking, and if you haven't attacked the opponent, they're still attacking you. You don't even have. Well, that's something different. Like, the first thing is if they attack you completely, you can start attacking with the A drop. And then at that point, if they have their own A drop, then you use your Basil Hawkins, but you don't attack for like big numbers. You don't attack for like 10, 12 or whatever numbers if they have blockers. If they have blockers, the best thing that you can do is attack for base numbers. So if the A drop is 8, of course, 8 is AK, then you attack for 8 twice. And then you attack with your leader with your Captain Kid for 9, because you attach 1 to use the ability. And then if you have a 7 drop, you attack for 8. And if you still have energy open after doing all your plays and playing your blockers, then you attack for another 8 with the Captain Kit. And you repeat this process until the opponent runs out of cards. If they have to drop 1k on each of these attacks, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks. There is no amount of resources. Like you need like 3, 4 bounties at that point per turn to be able to sustain that kind of like the amount of cards that you have to drop every turn. So that is not possible. You need too many cards. So at some point you're gonna run out of 5Ks, and you're gonna have to start defending with your blockers, and then it's easier to kill the A-drop at that point. It's a matter of patience and utilization of resources. So another way that you can so it gets complicated in the mirror. That's why it's such a skillful matchup when it comes to the mirror. But the best setup that you can do for the mirror, it's like having the A-drop, having the Hawkins, having a Raizo or an Okiku. Either of this is really good. Well, you need a draw engine. It could be a Bonnie, a Raizo, or a Momo. In that order would be the best one would be Bonnie, the second best one would be Raizo, and the third best one would be Momo. If this is the only one that you have, well, this is your draw engine for the turn. And so you need, as I'm saying, the A-drop, the Hawkins, and the draw engine, and then 1 or 2 blockers, and then that's how you protect your A-drop the best. And if you do have if you're able to keep up Pong Gibson for the turn, it could act as a blocker too. Like if you only have 1 blocker, then you keep up 2 energy for Pong Gibson, because it's more efficient that way. It acts as another blocker basically. You can also save from some mana for Waterfall in case they tap your blocker. Then you get to defend 1 attack and untap the blocker that they tap to be able to just utilize this card more efficiently. And then another way that you can then it's just about the same. So if the best setup also, it could be like having 2 Basal Hawkins, because then at that point you're putting a quick clock on the opponent on how many turns they have to kill your A-drop. And as long as you can defend your A-drop, you win the game. As soon as the first A-drop dies, you're gonna be able to clear the opponent's board, and you're gonna win the game. So that is what it comes down to. As soon as you can no longer defend the A-drop, you better have the opponent dead to rise, or you have to be able to kill the opponent like A-drop and then go for game on the next turn, or you're not going to be able to do it. So that's how you play the A-drop. That's why a card like Killer is so important in the mirror. That's why we prioritize this card over this blocker, or in this blocker too, because it's not easily tapped. This one is really easily tapped, so it's not as good. And this one at least gets some value. If it gets to block, you get to cycle through the cards in your deck. And that's why you also play Law, because Law is a blocker and an attacker in a pinch. If they somehow had a line where they can kill your A-drop because they tapped or they did something weird, or you see that you cannot defend the A-drop anymore, you can still keep the A-drop. Use it like they kill it or whatever, they just kill it, and then you still have an attacker after that you might be able to close the game with. And he's really good against aggro. But I digress. That's not the point here. So yeah, that's how you play the A-drop usually. So if you want to do the other way, where you just attack the opponent, it's only good if you're putting the opponent and not having the A-drop. If you are telling them, hey, I'm gonna attack you, and if you don't have the A-drop, I'm good. I'm gonna win the game because I'm being more aggressive, and if you're not attacking me, then I have much more time, and then you're gonna have to start defending my leader, and you're gonna start to have defending a lot of cards. Even if you're not attacking me, if you don't have an A-drop to defend your life, it's gonna be extremely hard for you to win. And so when do you decide that is the time to attack with A-drop? Because at some point you have to start attacking, right? Even if both players are doing the same, not attacking each other, and then we both have the same board. We have a Hawkins, we have an A-drop, we have a Raizo or a draw engine, and an Okiku maybe, and a blocker. So then we have the same board and we have the same amount of cards. Well, I say the best time to start attacking is once you have your A-drop out. As soon as you have the A-drop out, you have to force the action. So you start attacking with your leader first, and you start poking. Don't turn the A-drop. You don't try to be not the first one to tap the A-drop, because if you tap your A-drop, then they kind of start. If they have a good board, they are the first one to get to attack your A-drop, and you have to start defending your cards. So the best thing you can do is, as soon as you drop your A-drop, start attacking with the leader, and start forcing them to take cards. and then put them at 2 life, for 2 or 3 life, depending on the stage of the game, or how good is their board, or whatever is happening, right? And then if you have a big enough board where you have the 8 drop, the Basil, the 7 drop, then you can put them at this weird spot where, oh yeah, you're at 2 life, but next turn if I get to attack with this, I am gonna attack with everything, and then you're gonna have to defend your leader if you don't tap your 8 drop. So it's just a matter of don't give them all the cards in the life, because then they have more cards to defend with the leader. So the best thing you can do is just put them at 2 life, then wait another turn, and then attack with everything. And then that's how you force the game, where that's where it starts. As soon as you put them at 2 life, if they don't attack with the 8 drop to start defending those 2 life, then you attack with everything, and then you were the first one to rest your 8 drop, but you also ate a lot of the cards in the hand because they didn't rest their 8 drop, and then you're able to attack the leader, and then they're gonna have to defend at least some of it, because yeah, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers, and you're gonna be able to push some damage, and that's the way that you do it, basically. Again, super important is to have a draw engine, a blocker, 1 or 2 blockers, usually 2 is better, and having the Hawkins and the Kid. That's the recipe for success in the mirror. Some people play the draw sword, which is really good against this kind of strategy that I'm saying. If you don't attack each other, and I get to draw my draw sword, and I get to tap your 8 drop and attack it for a billion with a Hawking maybe, and you don't have a blocker set up yet already, or you just have to use blockers in a weird manner, then that's why draw sword is so good in the mirror. When you don't attack each other, then that's when it's really powerful. It's a really powerful card. But at that point, you have to hope that everyone is playing the mirror correctly, and it doesn't really happen. Like out of the 8 matches that I had that were mirror matches, only when I play against Andrew we play that way, and against another guy I play like we are not attacking each other. Everyone else just attacked me, and I was able to capitalize on that, and the fact that they were just attacking me, giving me cards, letting me see more cards, letting me see my Hawkins, letting me see my 8 drop, and then just I'll resource them because I have more cards in hand, and I can be able to pressure the board at some point, and they're not going to be able to outvalue me at that point. Because as soon as anyone turns sideways their 8 drop, is when the race starts, where whatever is on the board is whatever is on the board. You're not going to be able to add too much to it. So if you don't have your Basil Hawkins by the time I rest my 8 drop, then it's going to be extreme. You're going to lose a turn if you're trying to develop one, because at that point it becomes a matter of, I have to attack for 8 or for X amount of number every turn at the 8 drop. So that taxes your energy every turn, and that's why you have to do it that way. That's why as soon as one of the 8 drops is tapped, then it becomes a race of trying to remove the other one, and whatever you have on board is whatever you have to work with to kill the other 8 drop. And that's how you play the mirror the correct way, or at least how we think is the correct way, how it works for us, because we think that's just the way to beat the mirror. There is no other way. Doing it the other way is too risky, and it's not gonna work well for anyone, for you at least. Another thing that I wanted to, now that I'm talking about Kid, just another thing, I'm going to talk about the other decks. I can also talk about Red, how to play against Red. You're playing against Zoro. You have to try to find out what kind of version they're playing. If they're playing like a Go Big, like they're playing like a Red Luffy deck, but like with Zoro, like they're playing Beckhams, they're playing Shanks, then you want to attack them a lot. This goes for every Red deck. If they're playing Beckham or Shanks, or they're trying to do these big plays, then you do have to attack them a lot. You have to try to force a lot of life, put them at 1 or 2 life, where they don't feel safe tapping out for a Shanks, they don't feel safe tapping out for a Beckhams, because you're gonna probably kill them with your dual attack leader effect. So you're trying to. You also have to control the board, but you're trying to also exert a lot of pressure, so they cannot just freely play their 7 drops, the 8 drops, or 9 drops, whatever they have. They cannot just freely tap out and just wait a turn and just untap with like infinite bigger attacks creatures, which is really bad for you if they get to do that. So that goes for all the Red players, all the Red decks. if they're playing like a bunch of Winnie decks, like a bunch of 5Ks or whatever, you don't have to attack their life. If they're playing super hard into the board, then it doesn't matter as much. You just control the board, and at some point they're not gonna have any cards in hand, and then you can just attack for 5Ks at the leader, and they're gonna have to take it, and you're gonna win on attrition value just alone by that. Those are the better matches for you. The worst matchups is if they are playing the Chanks and the 7-drops, then you do have to balance that out, where you have to exert pressure, and at some point it's gonna be basically a race where you're gonna try to kill each other over the course of 2 turns, and whatever defense they have up, you have to get through that to be able to kill them. And it's a hard matchup just because of that, because it's easy to win because it becomes a race at some point. And then if you're playing against blue, that should be your easiest matchup. As long as you see A drop and you defend your A drop with your life, you can go to 0 life and you don't care. It's just the easiest card. It's the easiest matchup if you see the A drop. You shouldn't have much trouble after that. Then we have the purple matchup against Kaido. Basically, against Kaido, the biggest thing to remember is that they have the 10-drop, right? So that at some point they have to board wipe you. The best way to play around it's do a lot of pressure, put them at 2 or 1 life if possible. Once they are at 2 or 1 life, you can drop the A drop without hesitation, because if they tap out completely for the 10-drop, then you can just dual attack and kill them. That's the best way to look at it. Now, again, this is the most important card in most of your matches. That's why it's so good. Now, if they play a game where they go 6 turn, like 6 energy king into 9-drop king into, Kaido, and they have a good board, like a big bodies that can attack the A drop. They can attack you. You still have to drop your A drop, even if they can board wipe you, because that's the only way. That's the only chance that you have to win that matchup. If you can sit behind the A drop and win. At that point, it takes 2 A drops to win, basically, because you play the first one and they put you to 0 life because they have way too big guys. Like they have the Kaido, they have the 7-drop, they have too many guys, and they have a queen probably. Usually, they have too many good guys on board, and then you're gonna have a lot of cards because you're not trying to defend that at that point. You're trying to just defend your A drop, and sure, they might be at 3 life and they're planning to just board wipe you, and then you drop the second one and you drop a blocker and do the same play, and if they cannot remove your A drop, you can win on the back of that A drop because they still have to board wipe their own board. So that's why it takes 2 A drops to win that matchup if they have their best curve, which is the field spell into a 6-drop, into a Kaido, into something else, into a queen. That's just their best draw, and it's really hard to beat. But even then, you can beat it if you play the A drop. That's the main thing. You can always rely behind the A drop, because being an AK body and relying behind the blockers can block the 10-drop super easily, and that's when your Pawn Gibsons come into play. Because even if they kill the blockers with another 6-drop king or whatever else they have multiple removal spells for your blockers, then you can still use a 4K counter to outcombo their 10K Kaido, and that's basically how it goes. And everything else is just against law. You're basically just trying to remove the board. That's the best way to go about it. But that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to talk about when you're trying to play Kid. If you decide to bring Kid, that's just the best way to play. And I hope this guy help you with Kid if you're gonna bring it to the big tournaments. And if you're playing against Kid, you just knowing how the deck works will help you beat the deck too. So that's why I also wanted to make the video that way. And that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.